There comes a moment in every life, a moment so quiet it's almost invisible. You don't notice it pass. You don't hear it arrive. But in that moment, you either accept the world as it is, or you rise to shape it into what it could be. This isn't about money. This is about the mind that builds money. This is about the inner machinery, the architecture of thought that creates empires, moves mountains, rewrites futures, and reshapes generations. The millionaire is not a number. The millionaire is a mindset. Because before a fortune ever appears in your bank account, it must first appear in your beliefs. Before it flows through your hands, it must flood your thoughts. Before wealth lives in the world, it must live in your identity. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." That sentence isn't a motivational quote. It's a law. A truth as hard as gravity. If you think small, you build small. If you believe you are unworthy, the world will treat you like you are. But the ones who change the game, who ascend from the mud of mediocrity to the marble of mastery, they train their minds differently. They don't wait for evidence. They don't wait for approval. They decide, long before the world sees it, that they are already it. You've been taught to survive, to stay in line, to chase certainty and call it success. But understand this, no millionaire thinks like the crowd. No titan of industry was normal. Carnegie wasn't normal. Oprah wasn't normal. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Edison was called too stupid to learn anything. And yet they trained their minds like weapons. They forged their thinking in the fires of failure, and used it to build legacies. The first thing they learned, the first principle etched into the mind of every self-made millionaire, is this: clarity is power. You cannot hit a target you do not see. And yet, most people drift through life without a vision. They want success, but they've never sat in stillness to define it. They want wealth, but they've never asked themselves why. If your mind is fogged by distraction, if you chase one goal today and another tomorrow, you will never rise. The million-dollar mind begins with obsession. Crystal clear, all-consuming purpose. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by dabbling. Elon Musk didn't launch rockets by multitasking. Napoleon Hill didn't write a classic by accident. They burned with focus. They trained their thinking to orbit one goal like a satellite. They said no to noise so they could say yes to destiny. So if you want to train your mind to think like a millionaire, start here. Get brutally honest with yourself. What do you want? What do you truly want? Strip away the conditioning. Forget what your family wants, what society approves of, what's considered safe. If money wasn't a worry and judgment wasn't a factor, what would set your soul on fire? Because the moment you find that answer, your mind will begin to recalibrate. Your energy will shift. And you'll start to notice that every action, every decision, either feeds the purpose or starves it. That is how the mind begins to shift. Not through luck. Not through trends. But through ruthless clarity. But clarity is only the spark. Belief is the flame. You can know what you want. You can dream as vividly as you want. But unless you believe you're worthy of it, unless your subconscious agrees, you will sabotage yourself every step of the way. Most people don't fail because of a lack of potential. They fail because of a lack of identity. The mind trained for mediocrity will find a way to reject success, even when it's handed to them. They'll call it luck. They'll feel like imposters. And they'll crawl back to comfort the moment life gets loud. But the millionaire mindset refuses to retreat. It looks in the mirror and sees the future. It speaks wealth before it arrives. It acts with the confidence of someone who's already arrived, not because of arrogance, but because of alignment. Muhammad Ali said it best, "I am the greatest." I said that before I knew I was. Do you understand that? That's not ego. That's mental preparation. That's the mind taking ownership of the future. That's belief creating reality. So you must reprogram your thoughts. Not with empty affirmations, but with evidence. Start doing the hard things. Prove to your mind that you're capable. Stack small wins. Build momentum. Every act of discipline, every broken comfort zone, rewires your brain to believe, I am the kind of person who wins. Belief without discipline is a lie. You don't become a millionaire by thinking about it. You become a millionaire by living like one when no one's watching, when there's no applause, when it's just you, your thoughts, and your calendar. Success is not found in the moment of glory. It's forged in the dark. When your alarm rings at 5 a.m. and your body begs for sleep. When resistance shows up dressed as doubt. When comfort whispers to you like an old friend, promising ease, asking you to quit. The millionaire mind doesn't entertain that voice. It doesn't negotiate with laziness. It doesn't make excuses. It executes. Because it understands something most people never learn. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is wealth in disguise. Discipline is the quiet architect behind every fortune ever built. Andrew Carnegie didn't rise from a penniless immigrant to the richest man on earth by chance. He mastered routine. He controlled his mornings. He dominated his afternoons. He made his mind serve him, not the other way around. This is how you must train your mind. Create systems. Build rituals. Destroy distractions. Become allergic to wasted time. Treat your minutes like millions, because that's what they are. If you don't command your day will command you. And if you lose the day, you lose the week. Lose the week, you lose the year. Lose enough years, and you've wasted your life. Understand this, millionaires are not addicted to dopamine. They're addicted to progress. They don't chase the next hit of pleasure. They chase elevation. They chase the version of themselves they haven't met yet, but already believe in. And every single day, through discipline, they close the distance. But even discipline needs a direction. Because action without vision is just movement. And so the millionaire mind lives by visualization. It doesn't just see goals, it feels them. It doesn't just hope for the future, it rehearses it like a script. Close your eyes. Picture the life you want, not vaguely, not like a fantasy. See it in color. Smell it. Touch it. Walk through the house. Hear the applause. Hold the pen that signs the deal. Hear your voice getting the keynote. Feel the sun on your face when you no longer have to work, but choose to. Do this every morning. Before the chaos of the world invades. Feed your subconscious the blueprint. Why? Because your mind cannot distinguish between vividly imagined reality and physical experience. This is not mystical nonsense. This is neuroscience. Athletes use it. CEOs live by it. Tesla was born in the mind of a man who visualized every bolt before he ever built a machine. That man? Nikola Tesla. A mind that could walk through the future before it existed. You must do the same. Because the world you want cannot exist unless you build it twice, first in your mind, then in reality. But even vision, belief, and discipline aren't enough. If you have no reason, purpose is the fire. Purpose is what keeps the engine burning when the world is cold. When failure crushes your spirit. When doubt screams louder than your dreams. When you lose money. When they laugh at your ideas. When nothing makes sense, purpose does. What are you really building this for? Who suffers if you don't win? What injustice do you refuse to tolerate? Is it your family you want to free? Is it the chains of your past you want to break? Is it the generational curse you're here to end? You need a reason to wake up when motivation dies. You need a reason to bleed when no one sees you. You need a reason bigger than yourself, because greatness isn't born in selfishness. It's born in service. The greatest fortunes were not built on get rich quick. They were built on solving real problems for real people at scale. So find your why. Carve it into your soul. And every time life knocks you down, and it won't let the reason lift you off the floor. Because when you train your mind to think like a millionaire, you no longer fear struggle. You expect it. You embrace it. And then you rise again, sharper, stronger, clearer. Even with vision. Even with purpose. Even with fire in your belly and steel in your spine. The world will test you. The ground will shake beneath your plans. Because life does not reward the rigid. It rewards the adaptable. You must be water. The mind of a millionaire is not just powerful. It's flexible. It doesn't panic when the market shifts. It doesn't break when the plan fails. It pivots. It bends. It reinvents. Because it knows, failure is never fatal if you know how to adjust. The poor mind asks, why is this happening to me? The wealthy mind asks, what is this teaching me? Walt Disney went bankrupt. Oprah was fired. Edison failed 1,000 times. Howard Schultz was rejected by over 200 investors before Starbucks became a household name. But they didn't shrink. They didn't run. They didn't cry for rescue. They adapted. They became something stronger than before. Because they had the one trait more valuable than money, more powerful than talent, more necessary than even belief, resilience. Let this brand into your mind. You cannot become who you are meant to be without being broken first. You must be cracked open. Your comfort must die. Your plans must fail. Your ego must burn. Because only then can your mind become something new. Only then can you rise beyond what you were taught, beyond what you feared, beyond what held your ancestors back. Resilience is not a trait. It is a choice made over and over again in silence. Every time you get hit and rise back up, you train your mind to trust you. You become unshakable. You become inevitable. But to rise, you must also evolve. And to evolve, you must learn. The millionaire mind is not addicted to being right. It's addicted to growth. It's not married to its opinions. It's married to results. You must become a student of life. Read. Listen. Observe. Study those who've done what you dream of doing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You need to understand how it turns. Andrew Carnegie credited his success to surrounding himself with smarter men. Napoleon Hill was commissioned by Carnegie to interview the greatest minds alive, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, not just to learn what they did, but how they thought. That's the secret. Millionaires think differently. They invest in information before they invest in anything else. They know the mind, once expanded, never shrinks back. So ask questions. Seek mentors. Learn from your losses. Become obsessed with mental expansion. Because in every new skill, every new lesson, every book, podcast, failure, and conversation, you are sharpening your sword. You are preparing for a battle most people never enter. You are becoming dangerous. And finally, you must understand this. The world will not give you what you want. It will only give you what you are. You don't attract success. You become it. You don't chase wealth. You embody it. You don't wait for confidence. You create it through action. The millionaire mind doesn't need permission. It doesn't need the perfect moment. It doesn't need to feel ready. It moves. It decides. It builds. It believes. You are not here to be average. You were not born to blend in. You were born to create, to dominate, to expand, to elevate. But none of that can happen until your mind transforms. Until your internal world becomes richer than anything outside it. So train it. Train your thoughts to serve your mission. Train your words to build, not break. Train your focus like a laser. Train your emotions like a master. Train your identity until the world has no choice but to match it. This is your revolution. Not in the world, but in your mind. Because when you train your mind to think like a millionaire, you rise when others sleep. You act when others hesitate. You believe when others doubt. You persist when others quit. You speak in results, not excuses. You see obstacles as training. You see failure as feedback. You no longer fear the climb. Because you have become the mountain. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. Now go. Build. Rise. Win. The mind is your empire. And today, you begin your reign. But before you conquer the world outside, you must confront the world within. You must dismantle the old beliefs. The quiet lies that were whispered to you by fear, by family, by failure. The belief that money is evil. The belief that success is for other people. The belief that you're too late, too young, too broken, too average. Let me be clear, those beliefs are not yours. They were given to you. You do not owe them anything. Burn them. Because you cannot carry scarcity and build abundance. You cannot serve your purpose and please everyone else. You cannot think like a millionaire while still clinging to the mindset of survival. You must choose. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not when it's easier. Now. Because while others scroll through lives they wish they had, you are building yours. While others doubt, complain, and shrink, you are expanding, evolving, awakening. You are not just training your mind. You are training your destiny. And every thought you think, every word you speak, every habit you commit to either moves you closer or keeps you captive. This is the new era of wealth. Not just currency in your pocket, but consciousness in your mind. A wealth of clarity. A wealth of energy. A wealth of focus, passion, resilience, and purpose. Because that's what the real millionaires have. They don't just have money. They have control of their thoughts, their time, their habits, their emotions, their attention. They live by design, not by default. They respond, they don't react. They speak with vision, walk with intention, and build with precision. And now, so will you. Because you are no longer training to think like a millionaire. You are becoming one. From the inside out. Through fire. Through focus. Through truth. Through time. And when it's hard, and it will be, You'll remember who you are. You'll remember that this road was never meant to be easy. It was meant to forge you. Because greatness isn't given. It is earned. And the only way to earn it is to train for it every day without fail. Until the world bows to the power of a disciplined, visionary, unstoppable mind. So rise. From doubt. From fear. From comfort. From waiting. Rise. And train your mind to think like a millionaire. Your legacy is watching. Now go build it.